Before you can become a literacy teacher, you need to understand what literacy itself is. Where can we find it? How much does it affect our day-to-day lives? Literacy is how we create meaning in our day-to-day lives. When you take a step back and look at it, literacy is everywhere. I believe that literacy is the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, and communicate language. Literacy has so many different aspects to it. I believe that one is never fully literate. There are always ways to develop one's thinking and learning for themselves and the world around them. The more we learn, the more we grow. Like I said, literacy is everywhere, whether we see it when we're checking emails, signs in our room, on the vitamins that we take every day, the makeup we put on every morning, during birthday celebrations, house decorations, cooking instructions, even in forms of entertainment like puzzles. On the signs we see to celebrate monumentous events, even road signs too. In entryways, workout routines, through maps and even a compass. Forms we fill out online. How do you see literacy develop at such a young age?
In my preschool classroom, we use literacy by writing and drawing. In the beginning of the year, the kids write every day, and in their writing, they actually just draw pictures. And then by the end of the year, they start adding letters to their pictures, and then sometimes they even write the whole word out.
What's the most rewarding part about teaching literacy?
The best part is when I see the kids' aha moments.
How do you see literacy in your education?
I see literacy in my education through all the courses that I've taken throughout high school and through writing papers and taking tests.
What would you have changed about your literacy education?
One thing that I would change is I would have read books that I had more interest in.
So throughout this video, we have learned what literacy itself is, and we've also heard people's firsthand experiences with literacy, whether that be from a teacher's perspective or from a student's perspective. So now I wanted to talk about what it really means to be a literacy teacher. I personally believe that a literacy teacher facilitates the skills of reading, writing, thinking, listening, and responding to their students. I believe that a literacy teacher creates lessons to personally connect to their students. Teachers should find what interests their students and should always be trying to get to know their students on a more personal level. I think that teachers should engage in mindful conversation with their students and find ways to best support them. Teaching literacy involves going above and beyond. As we've learned, literacy is in every subject that we are going to teach. And as elementary teachers, we are teaching all of those subjects. So I think it's super important to find connections to the outside world and bring these ideas into our classroom. Every subject has this connection, so it's our job as teachers to think outside of the textbook. Yes, the textbook has a lot of useful skills, and we should use those, but we should apply those skills with hands-on activities and critical thinking responses that will open up endless possibilities to our students. Information comes in many forms of texts. Being a literacy teacher involves finding these different texts to engage with our students. I learned that these texts can include books, videos, hands-on activities, group research, guest speakers, etc. The list can go on. Throughout this course, I've learned so much more than I could have imagined when it comes to literacy. The main takeaway I have from this course is that literacy is all around us. I want this to be evidenced in the lessons that I design and I teach to my students. My plan is to create these hands-on lessons that get students in my classroom involved, active, and ready to participate. I have found many different technological tools to use as a resource. I have created mini lessons to build off of, and I have even found text to support my teaching. I also think it's important to recognize that becoming a teacher means you are becoming a facilitator. Too often, we see teachers answer questions that their students have right away, instantly. They're like, oh, this is the answer. And I think that instead of doing this, we need to let our students explore their questions. And I think that this is where the wobble that we've been talking about this whole semester comes into play. Children are some of the most curious people on our planet, and I think we need to let their curiosity flourish a little bit. Using the term design instead of planning in our teaching allows us to create lessons with hands-on real-world experience. This brings me back to allowing our students to explore literacy in different genres. Teaching students to dive deeper into this textual meaning can allow for deeper understanding. When teaching in my classroom, I plan to be hands-on. Like my lessons, exactly. I plan to be the teacher that works with my students, conferences with them, talks to them about their ideas, investigates topics, makes connections with them. Teaching isn't just about lecturing anymore. It's about being involved and in tune with your students. Overall, students need to be able to communicate in the world around them. Literacy matters because it's everywhere we look. We are engaging with literacy on a day-to-day basis. As teachers, we are teaching our students the skills of language to be able to use them in the outside world. Thank you.